Hi everyone, welcome to Talk of the Town. We try to do this once a month where a department head will come and chat with you with everything going on in town pertaining to their department. As many of you know, I'm Adam Lamontagne, the Assistant Town Administrator. And from this point forward, I'll be running Talk of the Town. With me today is Bob Sozik, our DPW Director. The DPW Director is in charge of the Highway Department, the Building and Grounds Department, as well as taking care of the trees?
Tree warden.
Tree warden. So it's a very important position on the sense of everything that goes on. When you see people working on the roads, or if you see people clean out a catch basin, that's Bob's department. If you see people cutting the grass at Town Hall, that is Bob's department as well. So with that, I'm going to introduce, or have Bob introduce himself to the town of Templeton. Bob.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me for the Talk of the Town. I'm Bob Sozik, the DPW Director, Tree Warden of Templeton. Like Adam said, my responsibilities are for the highway, buildings and grounds, and the trees. I've been here, been a year, started last October, come from a well-experienced background. We had a family business for over 54 years. And I'm glad I made the choice to come here to make improvements for Templeton in their roadways and drainage and town commons, cemeteries, and trees. We have a long ways to go. Things have been overlooked for a while, so my goal is, from the time that I'm here, is to get Templeton back in my good standings and reputation, showing the town what it should look like, even including the street signs, which should have been done back in 2008. But we got a long ways to go, and I'm here to make those improvements and hope everybody starts noticing them.
Now, Bob, before you came here, you had a lot of experience. I mean, how many years total you have working in highway cumulatively before you came to Templeton?
Between municipality and family-run business is almost 40 years.
So you hear that. Bob has almost 40 years of experience working out in the field. I'm not sure if many of you remember, but Hubbardston Road, a while back, had issues of water piling up and the like. And Mark Shea, who was our interim DPW director, you remember that trip, right?
Oh yeah, it was.
When we first went out there, and how fast did you take care of that issue?
Well, after we figured out where the road was, once I started, it immediately dived right into it because it was fall and I needed to do something before the winter set in for ice problems. So acted on it immediately and did some investigating and property ownership and finding out where the drainage went, and improved some swales and made some temporary patching to get us through the winter. And today, just recently, within the last few weeks, that section was repaved, so it came out pretty good.
And that's just one example of one of our roads that had issues. But when Bob first came in and you looked at the priorities and you examined, what was one of the first things you noticed on streets and how you're going to take care of these roads, in the sense of you only get so much state money, Chapter 90 dollars, and how are we going to use that moving forward with what you put together, the Chapter 90 plan?
Well, when I first came, I said, oh boy. Definitely have my hands full. I had piles of stuff to go through. After a few months, started getting a little more comfortable, and today I'm more comfortable. But the roadways, working with what we have for resources and monies, it's limited. Trying to do the priority stuff first. But every little bit is going to help. This year I'm hoping to look into some other opportunities of granting to help us get more road work done. But the Chapter 90 money's very short for what work needs to be done in Templeton. If we can't find any other funding, we'll look into other opportunities for the residents, but I'd like to go for some grants if possible, to get more work done each year. But right now, we're just doing what we can, and there's a lot of work to be done out there.
But if I could jump in and interject for a second, Bob. So when you talk of grants, we're talking of grants in the sense of tip money, right? Are you talking
Well,
tip money with?
No, I heard I'm supposed to meet with a director from Royalston. He knows of other grants besides the TIP program, but the TIP program is one of them.
And that's with, the TIP program is, it's called the Transportation Improvement Plan, I believe,
Yeah.
is the acronym. And that's state and federal dollars going into work. And we have 2 projects, I believe, that are going to be coming up soon. Right over here, the roundabout, right, for fiscal year.
The
20.
roundabout, that's actually going to be through the state itself.
Yeah.
And we got Royalston Road, which the town is paying for the engineering part of it, and the rest of it should be funded through state and federal monies.
But those are just some things that people should be aware of. And also, there's other grant money that Bob alluded to as well, which is the Complete Streets, right? And,
Correct.
And right now, we're at Tier 2.
Yep, Tier 2.
So the way that Complete Streets works, generally Tier 1, and then you have Tier 2, and then Tier 3 before you have to submit the design, and then that has to be approved. But Tier 2 is, like Templeton, we put together the policy, was it?
Yes.
So we're making improvement. The question is, there's only so much time in the day, and Bob, you're down one person as well.
One person, yes.
So his staff has been picking up a lot more work in regards to everything going on, cleaning out catch basins, putting together written procedures, a lot of things that really didn't get done at one point. So
No, and it's, my goal is to have, where we're short-staffed, it's hard because we're always going to keep somebody in the over-the-rail mower, the sweep of the catch basin truck, and then the remainder of the crew would be, you would hope to split them up in 2 crews to get more work done. And but some jobs, it requires all the guys, a few guys. That one being short in my staff, it really an effect on the highway department.
So as you hear, Bob's crew, they go out there, they work very hard. But when you drive around town, I'm sure you see there's a lot of progress being made with our roads, our crews. Why don't you talk about some of the streets that you're able to get done in just a short amount of time you've been here?
Well, this year we, the heavy traffic on Depot Road, we did some shim and leveling over there. It's a big plus. It's going to help. It's not a permanent fix, but it needed to be done. The shoulders and the valleys are just so washed out. It's just falling apart. Pale Factory, we, like I said, we did a 2-inch overlay over there, 1,000 feet. Partridgeville Road is very bad shape. We ended up doing a full reclaim on that road, regrade, compaction, and then a 2.5-inch base coat and 1.5 inches of top coat. We were able to do about 3/4 of the road. Next year, I'm dependent on the monies. The remainder of that road, I'd like to do a overlay, and that street will be completely done. Berry Road, we did some shimming and leveling. There was some severe rutting, as most of you know. It's just, it's a Band-Aid. And I'd rather see more roads get done completely than Band-Aids, but I had to take this year and do some of this to quiet things down a little bit, but we're going to slowly get there.
So you're the public works responder.
Yes.
Well, and when people in town see progress, they see roads actually being significantly improved from before. Well, I mean, what do people around town say to you?
Some people gives a thumbs up when we're out there working. We have the new hot box now.
Oh, the new hot box. So what did we do before we got the new hot box? This is when you first came in and right?
Yeah.
What was the method of?
Well, we take a larger truck, a 6-wheeler or a 10-wheeler, and go down and get several ton and put what we can out before it gets cold. You always get a couple extra ton to help keep it warm because it does take a lot of time doing potholes. So, and there is some waste in that at the end of the day, and it's harder to work out of a truck that size.
So the hot box essentially made it more efficient, and we could get things done faster. And at the same time, we weren't not under constraints of doing things on where we could actually go out in the winter. Do I have that right?
Yep.
So,
Go ahead.
no, I just want people to know the hot box has made it where now, if, let's say, the plants are closed, do I have that right?
They will be closing shortly, yes.
But in the meantime, we're doing what we can, we're making improvements, and at the same time, we're doing a conversion over, where many of you remember, when, not too long ago, what were we using, dirt? Throwing dirt on the roads
For
for the snow?
it was a 3-to-1 ratio sand salt mix.
See, sand salt mix, and now with the new salt shed, you want to talk a little bit about that?
The new salt shed is up and full of salt. They just finished filling it Monday. It holds about 600 tons. The salt is treated. We're using treated salt. We actually got that cheaper than the regular salt we were buying last year. So the treated salt, which consists of calcium in it. So yeah, I'm sure you folks will be noticing some green on the roads. That's going to be the new salt. It's going to have a green tint to it. And we will be going out treating earlier than we usually do. It's called pre-treating. That way there we're getting out ahead of the storm a little earlier, and we got the right product now. Because we want that salt to break down and develop a brine and cover the streets. So you'll see most of the streets, except for the wider ones like Berry Road and Baldwinville Road, roads like that, we'll be doing a double pass. But you won't have the sand build up on the shoulders and in your driveways and the catch basins and the cross culverts. Next spring, it should be a much easier process in doing spring cleanup.
And that will save time in the sense of catch basins cleaning those as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, we still got a lot more to do. That's one of my goals is get those all up to snuff, every catch basin and DI cleaned out. So we're at a good standard instead of being half, 3/4 full.
But I know you didn't like it when you would see all that from last winter. All you people
No,
in town would call it the dirt in the road, right? Or dirt in the sidewalks, not just
gravel
the road.
roads. It personally made me sick seeing that much sand out there, but that's what I had to work with. So the residents, you should notice a big difference this year in the sand accumulation. If you don't think your street's been treated, it's going to be treated. The secondary streets, you won't be seeing it break down as quick as the main roads because the traffic and the sunlight actually activate the salt and the calcium. So the more travel on it, the quicker it's going to work. But it'll be a big savings all the way around for the town this year, and I'm looking forward to working with it. And the new salt shed it's going to work out great. You got a lot of good compliments and said it was well overdue. That was one of my goals when I first started, when I saw I call them horse stalls, but come a long ways.
Yep. So we talked a little bit about the highway. Why don't we talk a little bit about buildings and grounds?
Buildings and grounds, we have a good crew now. Unfortunately, we were lucky to have 3 or 4 seasonals this year. The crew that's on now, and been getting a lot of good compliments on the cemeteries and the commons. And they're always staying busy. Right now, they're in their leaf season. He's been aggressive going after cleaning up some old decorations and dead flowers, and he's real particular. And is showing already organization and cleaning up the junk from the past. He's made a lot of improvements, and he's working out to be a good foreman. Town Commons, he's proud of what he does, and it shows. They've been yanking some old dead bushes and overgrown bushes that have been out of control. He's got a lot to do with 2 people basically, and helping out with the building maintenance on small projects, and been keeping up with it, and I'm glad to have that team with us.
And how about the cemetery? The new changes, just so people are aware with the dogs.
Oh, the dogs, yeah, there was, the commissioners passed the regulation of no dogs in the cemetery, which is, I agree with. All the 4 cemeteries have been posted. We had out-of-towners that would come in and walk their dogs and just let them go. Mm-hmm. I know we had one resident that was upset about no dogs. Other than that, all the other feedback was positive. And we had one resident that was upset witnessing a dog being unleashed and doing his duties on a monument. It's got to be a little more respectful, and I think that was a good decision on the commissioner's part to have no dogs allowed, except for service dogs.
Yeah. Now, with that, Bob, you just recently received an award.
Yeah, I was kind of blindsided with that.
Pinnacle of Excellence, too.
The town did a good job putting that on. That was my first one that I've attended. The luncheon was nice and good. I'd like to thank Camelot for doing a wonderful job, and the townspeople. Yeah, it was nothing I was expecting this year. I've just been so busy and right out straight. It's nothing I would thought of, and I want to thank the people that voted for me, and there's other people out there that deserve it as well, and the time will come. But thank you, and it's nice to feel recognized. And
you were popular.
Yeah,
you were in the newspaper.
But it makes you feel a little more comfortable knowing your accomplishments and being recognized. And I think it's the award service you guys, the banquet, I think it's a very good idea, and I got calls from a couple surrounding towns and that congratulated myself and told them, yeah, their town should do that. I think it's good recognition of their town employees. It makes you feel part of the team and wanted. So.
Yeah, and that's why it's so important to recognize our employees, full and part-timers that go above and beyond. And you certainly have done that in your short time here. And it's people of town, I know, chatted with me, and I hear a lot of positive feedback on the improvements that have been made over in the highway, building and grounds, cemeteries, and it should be recognized in the sense of showing it not only to the public, all the work we do, but as well to our employees, because this is a collaborative approach, working together for the public good. Let's talk a little bit about the training for the position. Now, you have to have certifications. You mentioned a tree warden. Mm-hmm. You're in charge of and then playgrounds, right, too?
Yeah.
So you've been busy. I mean, not only is winter approaching where you're going to be working tons of hours because I know how tired you come into the office sometimes, at least last winter. So I could only imagine, especially being down a person too, that's
Yeah.
going to be certainly a challenge. But we're working together to make sure that things go the best that they can moving forward. Did you want to chat a little bit about some of the trainings you've already been on and were you planning and
Well, the
little
playgrounds,
update.
that's still in play and in the works. Complete Streets, that's ongoing, always will be ongoing. Right now, I got one more class left in the tree warden certification program by the state, and that'll be over with. So all this training is just like being an EMT. You have to keep up your certifications, and it's a lot of time into it, getting recertified, retrained, refreshers, seminars.
But you've been also training your employees too on the to make sure that everything goes well with the winter operations.
Next week, next Thursday, I believe the 14th, all my DPW guys will be training on calibrating of the spreaders.
So calibrating the spreaders. So when the public hears that, what does that mean to them? When they
Well,
calibrate
it's
make sure that
calibrating the
everything-
spreaders. It's each truck and spreader could act differently with a different hydraulic pump or age or newness, and this measures out the amount of salt that we need to put out per square mile. You actually physically count revolutions on the gearbox and weigh the material and put it on a spreadsheet and a formula, and it tells you where you're at. So each truck should be putting out the same amount of material per square mile, which is going to save material for one, and is what recommended to put out per square mile, and actually going to be less material on the road as prior with the salt mixture or with the sand. So it should work out good. It's going to take a little time because the guys are used to seeing dirt roads pretty much. So it's new to them. It's new to the town of Templeton. But with some training and keeping track of the guys and following them, make sure that they're doing the right thing, I think it's going to be a big plus.
Absolutely. So when you think of the highway department, when you think of the building and grounds department and the cemeteries, how many facilities total you would say you have? Approximate. I mean.
There's probably 6 or 8 facilities that we look after.
Yeah.
The fire departments, Scouts Hall Library, Senior Center, Town Hall, DPW, Cash Shelter. So there's enough going on. And the building and grounds, they do a wonderful job keeping the walkways open and sanded or salted. And
Did you want to talk a little bit about cleanup, greenup?
well, I guess that was done early spring over to Gilman Waite. From what I was told by the recreational department, they had over 50 people show up, and it was a good day's work. The rec department was impressed because the DPW did a system during that week as well, and they're saying it used to take 2 days, but now it's taken a day, and I was able to guide them along and make suggestions, which saved them a lot of time. They were very appreciative of that knowledge, and I couldn't believe how much time they did save. So it was a good turnout, and I'd like to thank everybody that participated in that.
Great. Well, with that, I mean, Bob, is there anything else you wanted to add? I mean, because you've been working on a lot of projects. Scout Hall you mentioned, that was another one. In addition to when you first came in, I remember all the good times we had because you came in a time right before budget season, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
When
that
you
was-
had capital And you had to come up with your whole inventory and go through everything and useful life and figure out what trucks, equipment you were looking at and everything, and also the budget. That was
Yeah.
a learning experience too, because this, you have all these departments and you had to make sure everything got done. So did you want to chat a little bit about the process when you first came in? And
Well, there was
The
many
administrative
many hours spent learning Templeton's way and what I had, and
a lot of phone calls to me,
a lot of phone calls to Adam. I mean, it's
Carter.
Carter, everybody at the town hall I get along with, and I'm very appreciative that it's really a good team up here, and it makes my job easier to deal with the people at town hall as well as all the other department heads. I feel there's a good relationship between myself and them, which makes it a very good, positive way to get stuff done and communicate. Scouts Hall, that was shortly after I started, that was thrown at me, and my first look was tear it down.
But you've seen all the, it's made,
But getting more information from Julie Richards, select woman, and what monies I had, we actually got that ball rolling fairly fast and come a long ways with Scouts Hall till this time. They are in need of a little more money to put the finishing touches in it, but the drywall's up and done, the foundation's been repaired, the furnish is in good standings.
a lot of work.
A lot of work. They just redid the French drain the other day. I'll come a long ways, and it's almost there. And it's going to be exciting to see when the doors open.
Now, how about all the meetings you have to go to now, huh?
Yeah, there's plenty of those.
Not just the town ones, but you also go to the MJTC, Massachusetts Massachusetts Joint Transportation Committee.
Yeah.
Do I have that correct?
Yeah, MPO meetings and
And the MPO meetings
transportation meetings.
regarding Royalston Road and then the roundabout out here. Generally, these are important to go to, and usually if it's not Selectman Bennett who's the representative there, it's either the DPW director, which Bob Sozik, or somebody,
Yourself.
and did you want to speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, it does help going to those meetings. They're right here in Leominster, like Adam was saying, myself, himself, and Selectman Jeff Bennett was usually go. And they look for representation from each town. It's a slow process, but going to them, it does, and it's proven to be helpful to get stuff moved further up once you're in like the 75% range. So and you get other information and meet other people as well on their projects, and the information has been real helpful. It gives you if we get, like, Royalston Road is projected for 2024, if we get everything done and we're ready in 2023 and have a project that's not quite ready and that amount of money is sitting there, we might get moved up. That's why it's important to attend the meetings to see where all the projects are at.
So that's pretty much it. Basically, I'm sure you get a lot of phone calls at your department on potholes, and whenever winter operations start up again with the snow removal, for the most part, you get quite a few phone calls, right?
We receive plenty of phone calls. Between the roads and the parks and cemeteries, and it's pretty busy.
So everybody, as you just met, Bob Sozik, our DPW director, he's out there, he's working for you. And that concludes Talk of the Town. Thanks for watching, and have a good evening or morning whenever you're watching this. Thank you.
Thank you.